I just want to live. Is that so wrong? Why doesn't anybody else want that?
Hey, well, here goes nothing, I guess. Hey, what's happening, everybody? My name is Azarath, and I don't even know what this is, to be 100% honest with you. I want to give some quick context before getting into this, especially because, you know, people on the internet are crazy, and whether or not you like the movie or you dislike the movie, you loved it, you hated it, you're gonna get people who are ready to strangle you, you know, first chance they get. I am not a movie reviewer, okay? I'm just somebody who's loved movies my entire life. So I wouldn't necessarily even call this a movie review. I want to get my thoughts out on it because I've been hyped for this movie since that first teaser trailer. Well, actually, no, I've been hyped for this movie since the first time that it got announced, and I was kind of weirded out at first because I'm like, Iron Lung, that's a bit random, but at the same time, I really liked the game, and a couple of things popped in my head, and I'm like, well, I guess you could work. I mean, movies, they're isolated in one singular location. Like, they've worked in the past. They're hard to pull off, but I don't know, we'll see. And I found out he's directing it, he's writing it, he's producing it, he's doing everything under the sun, more or less. I mean, there are a couple other people who helped do, you know, other things with it, but for the most part, it was all hands on deck for Markiplier. And, you know, that's when I started to get a little bit worried, because while I don't really care what other people say, I try to go into a movie for myself, view it, form my own opinion. Like, some of my favorite movies I've heard going in, like, oh, that's garbage, oh, it was a waste of time. I walked out 20 minutes in, movie was trash, this, that, and the other thing, and I watch it, end up loving it, and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm just gonna form my own opinion. I don't care what the general, you know, opinion, because people always do that too. They'll throw it in your face. They're like, yeah, well, look at what Rotten Tomatoes said. I don't care what Rotten Tomatoes says. I don't. But it wasn't that this was getting bad reviews. It's that the reviews that I caught were all over the place.
Makes for an incredibly rough movie experience.
Is Iron Lung good? I would say it is.
In the end, Iron Lung, it's a mixed bag of a film, no doubt.
I thought to myself, you know what, Adam? Maybe you were a little too hard on Chris Stuckman.
Some saying it was a masterpiece. Some saying that it was Some saying that it was pretty good. Some saying that it was a complete and total dumpster fire. The movie was good. The movie was bad. The movie was great. The movie was terrible. So going in, I'm like, you know what? At this point, I don't care. I'm gonna get into the movie and we'll take it from there. Now, because like I said, this isn't really technically a movie review, it's story time, and I know people hate that. They're like, ah, quit yapping about nothing, just get on to the movie. Yeah, I know, that's why you clicked on the video. But at least with my history with Markiplier, and I only feel like this is important because I've been seeing a lot of, well, you only like this movie. Anybody who thinks this movie's good, their opinion's wrong because they're just a Markiplier glaze. You suck in that Markiplier. It's just because you're a fan of the guy. Because I was fully prepared. I was crossing my fingers, but I was like, if it's not good, I'm gonna say it's not good. If I end up not enjoying it, I'm going to say it. So, you know, if I like the movie, it has nothing to do just straight due to the fact that, well, oh, I'm a fan of Markiplier and I've been subscribed to him for a long time. But I just want to explain my history with Markiplier because, like I said, when it was first announced that this is even a thing that he was doing, I was like, okay, I'm proud of the guy, and, you know, his other projects, for the most part, I really enjoyed. You had a Heist with Markiplier, really enjoyed that. In Space with Markiplier, really enjoyed that. And say whatever you want, but this was a risky gamble. He could have picked any game to do this for. And not just that, you look at other, quote, YouTuber movies, and I know Shelby Oaks came out recently, the Chris Stuckman one, but for the most part, when this type of a thing happens, you'll have, like, Smosh, the movie. It's something just based on, like, that original IP or whatever. The Angry Video Game Nerd movie and just stuff like that. Like, this could have been Markiplier, the movie. Maybe you'd have Wilfred Warfstache come in out of nowhere and it'd be like, oh, fucking random, but whatever. And maybe he'd get into a big final showdown with Slender Man, I don't know, and something about Five Nights at Freddy's would be in there as well, yada yada yada. So the fact that he was making his own movie based around Iron Lung. So before I was subscribed to Markiplier, I wasn't watching an ass load of gaming content. Me and YouTube back in the day, I'm not gonna sit here and name everything, because I was all over the place. All over the place. And then one day, got done with school and I was just scrolling YouTube trying to find something to watch. And this little thing right here caught my eye.
How's it going, bro? My name is PewDiePie.
I found the man, the myth, the legend, PewDiePie. And saying I was obsessed is a bit of an understatement. He's primarily all I watched for a very long time. Like, I went from watching literally, I had so much variety in my YouTube, and then I'm like, well, I guess I'm watching gaming videos now, because I don't know who this guy is, but he's hilarious. Little did I know he'd become the biggest YouTuber for a long time. But the fact of the matter is I kind of was just, I was going to say I was obsessed with gaming content, but no, like I said, I just primarily watched him. There were others, and, you know, I watched a couple here and there, and it was fine. It was whatever. But then there was a shift in the tide. Again, I was just scrolling through YouTube, and thank you recommended, because I did not find it up by myself. I didn't type it in. I didn't whatever. I had no clue who Markiplier was at this point. Maybe I had seen his videos while like searching for something PewDiePie related, and well, either way, then this popped up.
Hello, everybody. My name is Markiplier, and I'm here playing.
He was so ugly that everyone died.
The end. I'm playing SpongeBob Slendy Pants.
So yes, and I'm not joking, the first ever video of Markiplier I have ever seen is SpongeBob Slendy Pants. But the point of this is I became a fan since there, and I watched all of his milestone videos, because, like, some people brag about this sort of thing, and sometimes they're lying, sometimes they're not, but I was in the under a million club, or whatever the hell we call that now. But then when he started, like, actually branching off from just doing your standard gaming videos and, you know, the typical Markiplier, PewDiePie, Jacksepticeye thing, and he started doing In Space with Markiplier, A Heist with Markiplier, and stuff like that. It was like, this is actually really well done, and you know what, props to him for that. Like, across the board, most of these were really good. So then it was like, okay, I'm going to actually be making a movie now, like an actual movie. Oh, and on top of that, when it's done, planning on getting it put in theaters. It was like, oh, well, that's some pretty big shoes right there to, I mean, crossing my fingers, hope it works out for you. But like I said, he announced that it was Iron Lung, and even though I really liked that game, I was kind of like, ooh, at first, because either that could be really, really good or really, really bad. Now, listen, obviously I get the complaints if, like, you weren't a fan of the game, or you never heard of the game, or you never heard of Markiplier, or this or that. Hearing people complain about certain things over the last handful of years, and most of the complaints being, we're tired of all the remakes, we're tired of all the sequels, we're tired of this, you know, these franchises that go on for too long. Even this, the video game movie curse, right, which a lot of people still think that this falls under, but there are so many video game movies that come to mind, stuff like Assassin's Creed, where I'm watching this and I'm like, what are we doing here? What the hell are we actually doing here? And the thing is, I'm not going to sit here and list them all. There's way too many to count. There's a couple of video game movies. It's not like there's none that don't exist. For the most part, they're not that great. And it's not even something like The Last of Us, which I know that that's a TV show, but at least with that, it's like, well, the video game literally is your blueprint because of how cutscene heavy it is, how character driven it is, how story driven it is, and with everything with the music. It wasn't just, oh, it was a cool zombie game, okay, go kill some shit, there you go, have fun. That's something that when I think about it, I'm like, yeah, that could be a movie. I mean, you would really butcher the story probably, because trying to tell that in only like 2.5 hours, yeah, good luck with that. So when I heard that that was going to be a TV show, I'm like, okay, thank God, because at the very least, even if it's not great, we should be able to cover the majority of the game. Right? Iron Lung, and this is assuming you know where to go and you don't crash into walls like I did because I'm an idiot and all that other sort of thing, with Iron Lung is like a 45-minute, really small indie game. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and try to tell you, like, oh, this movie was perfect, like, everything about it was flawless, hands down, across the board. But there was a lot of complaints that I was hearing going into it that I personally didn't experience. I heard a lot of people complaining that they couldn't hear stuff that was coming, like, through the radio or whatever, and Markiplier, for the most part, okay, you can understand him, but like everything else was very hard to hear. And there was a combination of a lot of the glitching in and out and stuff being kind of faded, or like there's one point where Markiplier has his ear up to the thing and he's trying to listen and it's kind of muffled and whatever. All of that seemed intentional. And maybe it was just the theater I was in, I don't know, I can't judge for anybody else. And keep in mind, before I say this, I'm deaf in one ear. I understood everything. I didn't really struggle to hear anything, and the stuff that I was kind of struggling to hear came off as intentional. Like, there's one point where the sub's going down, and the radio's glitching in and out, and Mark went, what? What? Okay, you're gone. Well, fuck me then. Didn't actually say that, I'm just implying that, like, yeah, no, I would imagine that the signal there would be ass. This isn't going to seem relevant, but I guess here's my example. It's like movies involving aliens, right? You got a couple of options. You have option one, where, well, because we need to hold the hands of everybody watching and we can't be creative and we can't do anything else, can't think outside the box. Nope, you're not allowed to do this, especially not in Hollywood, you're not allowed to do that. These aliens just speak English. Not that they learned it from us, like they speak English on their planet, like that's just how they talk, so then the aliens come and they interact with us and it's like, hey, how's it going? Hey, I'm an alien, hey, blah, 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 blah. And then you go the other route of, yeah, no, of course they wouldn't speak English because they're fucking aliens! Now, like I said, that probably seems random, but more of what I'm saying is, like, I was putting myself in the shoes of Markiplier's character when I was in this movie. When he was struggling to hear those people on the outside of the sub, I wasn't sitting there like, well, can't really hear that dialogue, it's way too muffled for me, that's, this is some bullshit, Markiplier, I want a refund. Like, yep, I can't hear even though I'm deaf in the one ear, like I said. No, I was like, yeah, no, the character is struggling to hear what they're saying because he's inside of the sub and they're outside of the sub and you're not really technically supposed to hear what they're saying anyway. Now, don't get it twisted, I am not implying either that, like, it was perfect across the board. Yeah, okay, there might have been a couple of instances where I'm like, yeah, I'd have to rewatch this movie with subtitles because I actually didn't catch that, but I was saying, like, for the most part, I didn't encounter that issue. Either there was the parts that came off as intentional to me, or I just flat out understood what they were saying. Again, maybe it was the theater I was in. Maybe the theater you watched it in sucked and that's why you were having trouble hearing it, but for me, did not have that issue. Listening to the stuff outside of the sub, and anytime something really big swam past it, or you think something big swam past it, I was looking up in my theater every time. I was like, the fuck was that? That fucking sounded huge! We talk about the man here himself, Markiplier. I, again, heard a couple of different things going in. I heard some people say that he was fine. One of the only good things about the movie, he was really good. There was actually a couple I saw that said that, you know, maybe he should take some acting classes. And this is not me being a Markiplier, Glazer, whatever you want to say. I thought he was phenomenal in this. Keep in mind, with the In Space with Markiplier and Heist with Markiplier, those were fun, for sure, but there was a certain element of cheese that went along with it, and just this overall goofy vibe, which, I mean, fair, it's Markiplier, it's very on brand for him, but I didn't watch those going, this guy is an actor, he should be getting his Oscar any day now. I don't know what voice I'm trying to do right now. I felt that isolation getting to him. I felt when that anger was coming out. Like, when Markiplier got mad, it didn't feel like gamer rage or like this or that. When he was having his crash outs and his freak out moments in this movie, I genuinely felt for the guy. And there's moments where he's crying and it doesn't feel forced, and say whatever you want about the rest of this movie, but Markiplier himself shines. There's a couple of movies, they don't all work, because you have to have a pretty good lead for that to be the case, but when you're one of these movies where you're more or less isolated in one location for the entirety of the film, like something like Buried comes to mind if you've ever heard of that movie, and I thought for the most part Markiplier carried this film. Yeah, no, I'm sorry, I was never bored. I don't have a 2-second attention span, I don't know what to tell you. And we just feel this thing, it's getting closer, and it's getting closer. And it's getting a little bit closer, and then it's getting a little bit closer. Like, the more I watched the movie, the more I felt like that storm approaching. Not literal storm, whatever, you know what I mean. So, at least for me, while yes, there is a little bit of this movie, for sure, that could have been trimmed and it could have saved some time, I was perfectly fine with the runtime, because there actually became a point I felt like the movie was approaching its end because, well, like I said, I had played the game, so I'm like, well, if that's the case, then we're definitely approaching the end. And I'm like, there's no way that that's been 2 hours already. Alright, and then you had the cinematography. I mean, yes, it was good by itself. Like, there's a lot of the shots in this movie that are really, really good, really well done, but for me, it was the fact that he was able to keep it visually interesting. These movies that are isolated in one location are hard to pull off for that reason alone. Yes, you do need a strong lead and a compelling performance, overall good story to go along with it. Yes, you need several different factors to make a movie in one location work, but if nothing else, please make it visually interesting. And for all the people I heard complaining that, oh, it's so repetitive, and like, oh, how many times can he press a button? Like, oh, look, I took a picture. Oh, look, I took a picture. Oh, look, I took a picture. That thought crossed my mind 0 times while watching the movie. He found really good places to put that camera, which is really funny because it's not even just, oh, it's in one location. This is not a very big submarine, at least on the inside anyway. And I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I really loved the, not trying to make a pun out of that, the Lovecraftian nature of this movie. For those of you who don't know, I'm kind of a whore for that sort of thing. I always have been, because this might be where I'll lose all credibility, even though I already said I'm not a movie reviewer, critic. I'm just here to talk about a movie that I watched last night and had fun with. That there's a movie called Underwater that I also saw a lot of people. Is that also a January horror movie? Yeah, because people were giving it shit for that, so I think that is correct. But, and I also heard people say, well, it's an Alien ripoff, so, you know, immediately discredit that, da-da-da-da-da. I think for what it was trying to do, it worked, and up to a certain point, like, I was really, really into it, and so I got spoiler alert for that, or whatever, but then we started to dip our toe into a little bit of Lovecraftian, and I'm like, well, there you go, I guess that's how easy it is to win me over, there you go. And I also want to talk about, like, the practical effects and the set and everything, seeing what went into making this set, this practical set of this submarine and what Markiplier went through in that alone. I've always just loved practical anything, whether or not it's Jaws or Jurassic Park or Alien, whatever have you. I'm always team practical. But it's not just that. Without diving into that's a pun. Without diving into spoilers, more towards the end of the movie, we get a lot of practical effects. Also a lot of blood. I was wondering where all that blood was going to come in, you know, that everyone was talking about. Oh, yeah, no, it's there. If you reach a certain point in the movie and you're like, I thought this had the most practical blood out of any movie. Yeah, just wait, it's there. I promise you. This is good as shit, because we live in a day and age now of just CGI, green screen, CGI, AI nonsense now. By the way, have I said CGI yet? So I guess to wrap up, because I have been talking for a long time now, and that this was never meant to be like, you know, one of those 4-hour essay videos, and you have to have the tape going in the thing, and it makes the noise, and they say something really, really smart right after that, followed up with a joke, because A, I'm lazy, B, that's not me. It, for me, was a pleasant surprise. So, where do I end on this? Movie was not perfect, but I had a lot of fun with it regardless. I thought the sound design was great. Again, I'm not talking about dialogue, I'm talking about the world and everything else around it. Markiplier, at least in my opinion, had a really great performance. I actually think for what they were trying to accomplish here, and it just being in like the one location, I liked the editing actually. Like I thought for the most part, like when stuff is ramping up and there's like one, okay, I guess there's several, but there's one point where Markiplier is being chased a full throttle, and you're just in the sub. You don't see the outside of the sub, you don't see whatever. It's just Markiplier, hand, thingamajig, push forward. That seems sort of complicated to not be boring. I loved all the practical effects, not just the set and the location in the submarine. I mean, literally all the Lovecraftian mumbo-jumbo at the very, very end, which I don't think that counts as a spoiler. Oops. And yeah, I just look forward to see what comes next for Markiplier, because at this point, I feel like if he wants to continue directing, if he wants... Yeah, maybe this movie has its fair share of criticisms, and from a decent amount of people, but it making its money back by a lot, and the fact that there are a handful of positive reviews, because I know mine doesn't mean anything. It's going to get no comments, and it's going to get, like, no views, at least in comparison to everyone else's. So, my thoughts don't matter, and as I've said about 5 times now, that this was not a movie review. I'm not a critic. Just want to share my thoughts. He technically, as of right now, officially has his foot in the door. So, whether or not it is acting, whether or not he wants to direct more things, or write more things, or whatever have you, I am excited to see what he does next. So, yeah, why don't you guys comment down below and let me know what your thoughts and opinions on Iron Lung were. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Or were you somewhere in between? It really doesn't matter. This is the land of opinions over here. We don't fight other people over other opinions. Well, I mean, you might in the comments down below, but like, if you think this is one of those things where it's like, well, you're just glazing Markiplier, so by the way, like, if you hate the movie, cool. I don't have a problem with that. I didn't, and I don't see why that's a problem. I've realized, and this is probably why I don't even do movie reviews at all to begin with. Yes, I'm fine with people disagreeing with my opinions, but the amount of, like, groups and all this other sort of thing that I am no longer in anymore, because as soon as you guys start throwing out death threats and you're a moron because of XYZ, how could you possibly like this? This was terrible. You're a piece of shit idiot who also... It's like, it's a movie. We will survive. We will survive. It's the same thing with video games and music, too. I know this has nothing to do with Iron Lung, but I've gotten my face. Oh, you really listen to that? That's the garbage you listen to? Yeah. Yeah. Comment down below and let me know what your guys' thoughts and opinions of Iron Lung were. I really enjoyed it. I'm not sorry. Hit the bell icon, turns on the notifications, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Every little bit does help out. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in future videos. So, later. Oh, fuck! Of course, I remember it now. Of course, I remember it now. Also, have I shown my Iron Lung shirt yet? What? I couldn't help myself.